Their Fated Travels, Chapter 10. The Shrine in the Forest, Part 2. The magical light from Maestro's staff illuminated the walls, and the others wished it hadn't. Depictions of historic moments in the chaotic worship of battle of Khorne adorned the walls in a crude brass writing against a dark red wall. Maestro spoke. "A Khornite beastman of some importance is buried here." The wizard screwed a small telescope into an enlarged socket of his spectacles. It looked every bit like an oversized jeweler's magnification appraisal device. He called it a monocular, designed by his own hand from lenses he'd stolen from the telescopes of the Celestial College of Magic. He continued to study the dark runes along the walls as the others examined the passage left and right. Dieter could not shake off a feeling of déjà vu. Perhaps it was something he'd seen in a dream. He couldn't completely remember, he thought. He made mention of warning for traps. Tobias, still dressed in his black leathers, held himself low in a constant stoop, which he only ever did at night. Took a stone and threw it to the left. Nothing happened. He then threw one to the right, and as it bounced along the ground from his skillful skimming action, some pressure point in the floor must have been activated as a previously concealed compartment in the wall opened, and an iron spear trap activated. It swung into the passage to a point that would have been level with a person's chest. The group looked at Dieter, partly with relief and partly with concern at the bigger question. He simply shrugged and pointed out that Moore's influence was strong within his dreams. Tobias managed to find a secret door, and onwards they pushed until their already careful tread was brought to a halt from the sound of wet, slushy, slopping sounds around the corner. Having stopped, they avoided running directly into a terrible thing indeed. It was roughly humanoid in shape and covered in a red mist. Its features were a hideous snarl, and upon closer inspection it seemed that it was in fact bones, covered in a strangely semi-solid jelly of blood underneath. It rounded the corner as the sound of a second one could be heard clearly approaching from behind it. The party stared in horrified unison. Dieter had removed the Minotaur's head while outside. He had chopped it off with his machete, saying that he'd wanted to study it and use its horns for potion making. Right now, though, Maestro's eyes were upon the head Dieter carried, as he looked back to the approaching blood-cursed creatures. Maestro spoke. "Dieter, you need to give me that thing's head!" Dieter seemed defensive to that idea. "This is my trophy. I'm damned if you will take it." Maestro scoffed at him in insolence. "You'll be damned if I don't!" Dieter scowled and snarled a little, and then reluctantly handed the head over to the wizard, adding, "Whatever you do, it better work." The intent of harm was somehow behind these words, as Maestro took the Minotaur's head and quickly held it up before the creatures. They didn't stop. Maestro spoke aloud in the language of chaos, Dark Tongue. "Hear me now, servants of blood!" This seemed to work. The blood-cursed paused as Maestro continued dramatically. "Bound in honour as you are to the Skull Throne, you would seek to serve your master's brutal designs. In standing in our way, you only threaten to harm them. I am here on a pilgrimage to he who lies in this place. Yes, I come to complete my training in the ways of Khorne. I bring this trophy." Maestro pushed the severed head at them once for effect. "In offering to the blood god, to the Skull Throne, a mighty Minotaur that I did kill in battle, thus honouring him too. Now I bring his head to let him be honoured upon the Skull Throne." The front blood curse kept coming, but Maestro held his confidence and character in place. The atrocity of former human life reached out and took the head from Maestro, examining it in his hands, turning it this way and that, before being satisfied and taking it away with him down the passage he came from. The others in the group looked shocked. It had worked, they hoped. Next, they came upon a large triangular-shaped room with a fountain in it. But instead of water, this one streamed blood in a great gout around it. Maestro was taking no chances here either, making a dark prayer to the blood god himself in dark tongue. The others held their breaths at this, waiting for some terrible thing to happen, as the wizard walked forwards first. Nothing did. Dieter's danger senses were buzzing, but somehow he knew that his proximity to the wizard at this moment in time was saving him. He still felt grieved for the loss of the Minotaur head. No matter, he thought, he would have to find another one. Soon they came upon a great antechamber. At the far end was a statue of Khorne sitting upon a brass throne. Skulls and bones were littered around it as a ghastly dedication to the deity. Suddenly 2 skeletons appeared out of the heaps of bones in the room. They began to close in on the group. Rysandria shouted, "It seems this place is guarded! Perhaps your trick did not work, Maestro!" Dieter answered for the wizard. "No, I feel this is them being nice to us. A test. Kitten herders could have gotten this far, after all." Rysandria laid a comforting hand upon the anointed priest's shoulder, saying, "It will be all right. We are close now," as she brought her staff aside to reveal the gun in her robes. The shot drove out and bored away through the skeleton's skull, melting it from an expanding hole. This jolted the others into action. Quickly they engaged the skeletons as new ones emerged. Soon they were fighting 6 in number. Father Odo put his hands over his head as the ringing sounds of metal upon metal clanged and reverberated around the room peculiarly, coming back to him loudly. Quickly all of the skeletons were dispatched with skill, and soft grating noises drew their attention to the rooms that had now opened on either side.